Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, a.k.a. Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon1 Pickups.
It's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We are happy to have you. Jared is rolling around in his chair. He's been sitting in traffic for a very long time because the storms have been battering us here in Columbus, Ohio. And
flooding.
I think he just has he's like a 5-year-old in church or something right now. He can't sit still. So he just took some sit still juice.
Yep.
And hopefully that works. Anyhow, we are awful glad that you are joining us in whatever form that may be. Driving along in your car, just listening to us with the headphones. Hopefully you are not crying in a closet somewhere in trouble. I don't know why you would be, but I hope that that's not the case. Hey, everybody. We want to, before we start the show, just remind you that we are on Patreon at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. And we would greatly appreciate your support. For as little as $1 a month, you can help us keep this podcast ad-free and bring you cool content. And we've got a whole bunch of really awesome gifts that we've put together for different levels of entry. And if you, for whatever reasons, just want to even drop us a note and say, I really, really want to, but I can't, I'll accept that too. I think that would be just fine. We're going to do the show no matter what, and we're going to do it ad-free no matter what. But boy, it sure would be nice, and it would help. So thank you ahead of time for that. And we have 2 people that actually, one, we just got a new one. Do you hear that little bling?
Wow.
I was
You know who that
getting
is?
into my phone.
That was Martin Cliff, who just joined as a Patreon patron. So, welcome, Martin.
Hey!
Yeah, Martin is joining, and we're very, very happy to have him. So, we've got a fun show today. It's me and Tony and Jared, as we said at the introduction. And it's kind of a busy week in music right now because NAMM is happening. And we're not there. Yeah.
But if we get a few more patrons.
Ultimately, that's the plan, to get there. And just so we can just be completely disregarded as we walk the halls of NAMM.
Yep.
As unknown people. Anyhow, the NAMM is going on, the NAMM, and that means the music world is abuzz. The guitar world specifically is abuzz with all kinds of tons of new things, and we know that there are a bunch of great avenues for you to receive that news. I'm going to call somebody out right now just because I'm just such a fan, and I just want to give props to the guitar nerds for I'm a 100% fan, and I've had fun interacting with them at different levels. Yes, even Joe. And we're just, I'm grateful that those guys are out there giving us all the news.
Yeah, you know what?
On all the new stuff, and we don't have to do that.
Great show, man.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm a big fan.
So we just mentioned one of the guys. If you're not familiar with the show, I'm sure you are. If you're listening to ours, you are likely a listener of that show. But specifically, they do such a killer job of bringing all of us guitar enthusiasts the absolute latest up-to-date news on what's going on with new gear. And they are entertaining and very knowledgeable, each and every one of them, especially Mark Backham, who basically puts the whole dang thing together. So thanks, Mark. That's my plug for them.
All right. Go Nerds.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Okay, so we're going to get on with our thing, and let's spin the wheel of what's going on with this week. Jared.
All right. Last podcast, we talked about acoustic guitars and the Would You Rather. part. And that inspired me to go home and get one of my acoustics out, wipe it down real nice, make sure everything's fine with it. And I just played the crap out of it. I had a really good time. And it is a Martin Veterans model. It's a custom shop. And it's not a D28. It's the other model. It's comparable to the D28, but I think that I keep forgetting the model name. Forgive me, but the binding around it's not the white. It's the kind of the black and goldish. And I'm looking at Tony, hoping he would know the model number, and he's just like, "No, I don't know what the hell you're talking about." I know. I just care that it says veterans on it. It's got the sections of the military up on the headstock, and it says veterans.
It's like a commemorative thing?
Yeah. And it says veteran down the fingerboard.
Holy mackerel. That sounds...
Yeah, and it's got like a metal made out of different woods. It's a ribbon, and it's made out of different woods, the colors are natural, so it's a really nice guitar.
The DVM?
Yes, that's it. I'm sorry. The DVM, Martin DVM. I love that guitar. And not only does it have a great neck, a great sound, and just a good quality guitar, but I really appreciate the veterans aspect.
Goodness sakes.
So
they shoved a lot of stuff on that thing.
Yeah, but it sounds great. I love the way it plays. I love the way the neck feels. Love that guitar. I don't get it out a lot, but after last week's podcast, it made me want to get it out. And actually, I played.
When in doubt, you whip it out.
That's right. So my nephew's down helping me out in the shop, and he's a great piano player. And I got it out and kind of jammed with him. So
that's
it was
cool.
a good time.
Too bad this isn't the piano player podcast.
Well, that's too bad, but I'm mentioning it anyway.
Well, you know what's funny is not having seen this particular model before. When you said the veterans model, how it would look really cool, like on the 12th fret, if there was like an old style, like revolutionary, the arrows and birds thing, almost, but like tattoo flash, like an old style tattoo.
Yeah,
that would look really cool in there, but they can't fit it in there because there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on with it. Yep.
Yeah.
It's exactly the way it looks.
Did you get like some kind of deal on that or something?
Yeah, I got a deal. I traded some other things for it and some money.
You got it at the what's it called? The market, the PX?
No, not the
right
not
next
the
to the
PX.
koozies.
No, you actually have to either be an actual bona fide retired.
Well, I would imagine,
or a government worker to be able to buy.
Is it illegal to have one if you're not?
What, a veteran's?
Or just frowned upon?
Frowned upon, probably.
Yeah, unless it's a family thing. I mean, that would be pretty great.
If somebody like my dad or some patriot American that just loves his country, loves the military, loves all that, I wouldn't care. You know, I'm a veteran myself, but I don't hold myself up like I do the actual war veterans. Stuff like that, but. I just love the guitar, what it stands for, I guess, and I just love the way it sounds.
That's cool.
Pretty much why.
Are they the only? Do you guys know? Are they the only ones that did something like that?
As far as I mean, that's
as far as I know
of. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Gibson made the USA map guitar. You remember that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
The shape of the USA.
There was an Epiphone version of that too.
Right. So everybody else could afford it.
Guitars for the rest of us.
So I can afford it.
They're like, should we make a clock out of this or a guitar?
It's both.
Yeah. That was you high pitched laugh on that one. That was interesting.
That was funny, man.
Good.
You made a good funny.
I'm glad. Okay, so that's it.
That's it, man.
Okay, good. Tony.
Oh, I guess I'm up.
Tony, you're up.
Well, I've been arm wrestling with my Dr. Z Maserati for.
What does that mean exactly?
If my amp had an arm, I would be locked.
You're fighting with it.
I'm fighting with it.
That's how I was with my Vox AC15.
Long story long, I got it.
We got time, man.
We got time. We got time to talk about it. Let's go back and back. So I took it. So I actually took it up to Dr. Z. He's up outside of Cleveland, and I was having some problems with volume knob or the volume control.
Mm-hmm.
And it would just, you turn it and you get to, maybe 9 o'clock, and then all of a sudden it would just go really loud and then cut out completely. So I just took it up there and I said, make it work. And they did. They ended up replacing the volume pot and some other little bits and pieces, put a longer cord on for me, whatever. So I've been real happy with that up until I started blowing my output fuse, which it can be a number of things, but fortunately,
good thing it wasn't your Johnson rod. And you wouldn't need ball bearings to fix it.
Exactly. So, I mean, the usual suspect is a short in one of your output tubes, and this is an EL84 amplifier for like an AC30 on steroids. So, I bought some tubes.
I would love to play out of that. I want to hear one of those. I've never actually played out of one.
Come down to the shop.
I will.
For God's sakes.
Close enough. I should.
Yeah, just come down anytime. But so I put some tubes in that I'm not happy with now.
Okay.
The amp has gone brittle sounding, and I sort of knew that going into it because I'm not a big fan of Sovtech tubes, but they were available, and it solved the problem. I'm not blowing the output fuse anymore. So I'm on a new quest for, I guess, the ultimate quad of EL84s for that particular amp. So if anybody out there has any suggestions, I'll take it. I've tried a bunch, and it's still good. I mean, it sounds good. It's a great sounding amp, but now with these new output tubes, it's a little too brittle for me.
Yeah. So how familiar, like on a scale of 1 to 5, when it comes to tubes and comfort level, your comfort level with tube rolling and, stuff like that. 1 to 5, how comfortable are you?
With tube rolling?
But that's a 0 then.
I don't roll my tubes.
Well, just in the sense of, so tube rolling, the slang for testing out a bunch of different tubes and, seeing what's going on. Like, here's these two. What does it sound like? What's these two sound like? You know?
Okay. No, I've not done that. And because it's a 4 output tube amp, I don't like to mix and match too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got an old tube tester at home that I can yank out and see.
Well, just because different tubes color your tone greatly.
Totally.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. So you got an amp and it don't work so hot.
Oh, it works great.
Okay.
It just sounds like poop.
Okay. So your next move is to what?
I'm going to go to different tubes because that's the only thing.
Did
that's
you order
changed.
said tubes?
I have not yet.
Excellent.
But yeah, that's my plan, is to try yet another quad or 2 or 3.
I was wondering something though. Todd.
Yep.
What's been going on in your guitar world?
Yeah, I was just wondering that too.
Well, in my guitar world, I just rearranged my pedal board because I got a new power source. I got the True Tone 1 spot, and I'm pretty happy with it so far. It's pretty heavy duty. I've got a Pedal Train Metro that is a flat board essentially, so the power source has to sit on top. I'm not totally ready to pony up for like a super big pedal board just because the ones that I typically gig with, I usually roll it with like 4 or 5 pedals. Got a whole bunch of them on, all around the pedal board and all around my amp stuff so I can interchange them. So I suppose I need to do a new one at home. But for the time being, I needed to rearrange my board, and my tuner is, I need to go down to a mini because it's too big and it has the power supply like right next to the jack on the right hand side, which is not conducive to any kind of layout that I can muster on my board. So I started researching mini pedal tuners, and I've narrowed it down to 3 that I'm looking at, but I'm pretty sure I'm just going to get the one.
Which 3?
The Ibanez Big Mini and the Korg Pitch Black Mini, and of course the Polytune 2, which is the Mini.
I think I'd go with the Polytune.
Yeah, well, The only thing that's holding me back from the Polytune, two things, not the only thing, is it's the side power, and I really want top power. So power at the top of the pedal, just based on my layout. I really want to do that, and I'm running rattlesnake cables, so they're a little meatier, and that's kind of the issue with the current pedal that I have. It's like the power and the my guitar cord are like jammed right next to each other.
Yeah, it's not good.
Now, the one that I have currently is not the greatest pedal, but it has amazing visibility at it was mono price. It was like, I don't know, like $30 or something.
Yeah.
And you know what? It tunes your guitar really well.
Wow.
And I can see it on stage, no matter what the lights are doing, really, really well. But it's not the greatest build ever, But it's good. If you can't spend $100 on a tuner pedal, and I really don't want to do that either. That's another drawback. I love TC stuff. They got great gear, and I think just knowing that is going to be built like a tank, and I like the idea of having it polytuner. So you hit the strings, you can hit all the strings, and it will show you which strings are in and out of tune.
Yeah,
in one shot,
time,
so you don't have to be on stage going dang, 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 dang,
and you can still use it that way too.
You
if
absolutely
you want to do
can.
string by string.
And it also has capo setting too, which is huge, because in one of my bands, like I roll capo a lot. I would like to be able to tune it accordingly. So I'm thinking that's probably the winner. The upside of the other two are great displays. They're more of a block LED style, where the Polytune is more dotted. And that's the only thing I'm worried about is like, if I'm looking down several feet away, how well am I going to see it?
Right. That would be the only question.
Yeah. I'm sure they've
Visibility.
covered that, and I'm sure I'll be able to see it brilliantly.
Yeah.
I would also much rather spend like $40 than $80 on a mini tuner, because I don't like paying for utility stuff. And I have to, for some reason, I feel like everything I'm buying now is like utility.
You get what
use your phone.
You get what you pay for. Yeah, you have that
man,
really
I
good
can't.
tuner in your phone, don't you?
I got to have it on the board.
You need it down there.
Yeah, because I'm playing enough live stuff.
Yeah.
I a friend of ours rolls with the snark thing on full time on stage too, and I'm like, you get that thing off your,
because it's in your eyesight.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Right.
Snarks. Whatever.
Snacks.
Anyhow, so that's what I'm doing.
Sounds like a busy week for you.
It's exhausting.
Oh my goodness.
And the interesting thing is, hey, Ibanez, if you're listening, you might want to put out a little bit of material on your big mini. There's literally nothing. There's one video that some guy did. The brand itself might want to up its game and just like, if you're going to put out a pedal, if you're going to make a product,
Put a sheet out.
do something for us to understand what this thing's about. I mean, I went to the website and it was just a picture of it. I'm like, thanks, I know what it looks like already. So kind of a swing and a miss on that one. I'm sure the product is great because Ibanez makes good stuff.
Well, there you
Tuners.
Yeah.
God dang it. I freaking hate spending money on utility.
Well, if you would buy one of the Gibsons that have the self-tuning mechanism in
No,
it, you'd never have to worry about that again.
Those are the highest quality tuners on earth.
They just tune themselves.
Yeah, no.
They're perfect.
Not
every time.
get out of here.
Guess what I use?
What?
A snark.
I believe that.
Yeah, no surprises here.
I'm not at all moved by that whatsoever. Anyhow, so today, everybody, we are doing show and tell.
Woohoo!
Mostly because the two gentlemen, I'll use that term loosely.
Yeah, hey, that's insulting to gentlemen.
Where are they?
Yeah. The two ladies in front of me have pretty awesome gear collections. Mine pales in comparison, though I am trying to catch up. So I said, hey, let's bring in some interesting stuff and wow each other and just, talk about the provenance of the equipment. So the offer is up for any kind of gear they want to bring in. It looks as though we all have the same thing in mind.
The cases are the same.
Yes. So
Actually, I have a keyboard in my case.
Oh, a guitar? Did you bring a guitar?
Actually, I had one of those. I had one.
Don't you ever bring
I
that
had a
in here.
Gitorgan here.
I will smash it real quick.
Oh man!
Wow.
What about those Yamaha
Fighting
digital?
words.
You remember the Yamaha digital guitars?
That's
or
what
the
I'm talking
Korg?
about.
Oh yeah.
It's like black and it's got
Yeah.
strings, but it's got all these different effects. Yeah. I got one of those. They're cool. They're actually crappy. To tell you the truth,
If by cool you mean
it's a cool idea. They don't work very
It's
well.
a fake guitar. Of
It
course
is.
It's a
Okay. Anyways, blobbity blah blah.
blah.
Let's do.
Spin the wheel.
Our assistant here is going to pick the one closest to the wall and put it on the table.
That's probably the best one
Well,
And
because it's Tony's.
we're going to listen carefully for delicious telltale sounds.
submit for your approval. Oh.
Tony's talking over the sounds.
Whoa!
Holy cow, look at that!
Okay, what the heck is this?
What the heck is this?
All right.
Alrighty. So
You want to lift it up, Vanna?
Can I have
Show us
that?
what's going on with this?
So what we have here
Look at that thing.
is a Fender Maverick / custom.
I've never seen one
replica.
of these.
Well, let me tell you a little story about Fender in the late 1960s.
That is wild.
Now this is one I made.
This is wild. That's maybe that is one of the craziest looking guitars I have ever seen.
It looks like a
Yes.
guitar made by Fender that is really a Fender.
So let's set the Wayback Machine to 1968-69.
Okay.
CBS has taken over Fender. They're looking for all sorts of ways to make extra money. And lo and behold, in the shop room, there are pallets and pallets of Fender Electric 12 bodies and necks that nobody wants. So they enlisted one of the guys in the shop. I think his name was Babe Simone. Babe was his nickname, I guess.
Yeah.
And they said, "Hey, what can you do with this stuff? We're going to just burn it."
Right.
So Babe comes up with the idea to take an electric 12 body, chop it up a little bit, carve it. They took an electric 12 neck, and the very first series, they actually they chopped the headstock and took about an inch off the headstock, shortened it, and then put veneers on either side of it. Later models, they actually tooled up to make this guitar. So what started off as kind of a mishmash of old Fender Electric 12 parts and necks and Mustang parts, they've just created a really, it was really one of probably the worst selling guitars, but it was also at the time more expensive than a Strat or a Tele. So they called it it was kind of their top of the line kind of deal. So what I did is I'm a sucker for all the oddball things, and what I can't find, I make. So in this case, I took a Jaguar body and routed it for like an electric 12 and used the parts and bits and pieces. It also has a Mustang tremolo and bridge. And the neck I had made by a company out in Washington State that does really, really, I think, pretty good necks. And they happen to have the hockey stick headstock, which was
I mean, that's one word for it.
that's
All I can think about, honestly, since you've pulled that out and since I've been looking at it, no joke. The only thing I can think of is the Chelsea drugstore scene in Clockwork Orange with the girl with the popsicle.
Bit cold and pointless, isn't it, my lovely?
And the popsicle the lollipop thing. He says, a bit cold and pointless, isn't it, my lovely? Where it's just kind of sagging over. Yeah.
So there you go. Here's if we refer
Wild.
to the Fender book.
Okay, we got the Fender book out here.
Tell us about the pickups.
So those are electric 12 pickups. Now those pickups in particular were put together by Curtis Novak.
Cool.
Curtis makes a really good set of electric 12 pickups. I've used them in a couple of different projects.
And for those who are unfamiliar with that, think G&L.
P-bass
Or
pickups.
think Mustang bass.
Okay. Well, I was thinking just because the Janelle offset.
Oh, that's right. They have those
Yeah.
too. You're right.
Oh yeah, listen to Todd. Maybe he knows a thing or two.
Maybe.
Yeah, one or two.
Well, yeah, but also they're sort of flat and rubber looking. So you're right in the other models that you. Everybody's right. La la.
La la la.
Okay.
So mine is. I think it's a very good
This is wild
representation.
looking. Goodness sakes.
I spent more money on this neck than I probably should have.
So
but-
that should have been a 12-string neck
correct. So what they did, originally,
because that was the hockey
Yep,
bent lollipop. Awful. Ugh.
So what they did is they shortened it on the originals, and then put veneers on the front and the back to cover up the extra tuner holes.
No kidding.
Yep, they were clever.
And no kidding.
Hey, no kidding. That's the real deal.
Yeah,
Wow.
my uncle actually had an acoustic 12-string with the hockey pop, with the hockey stick.
That was Fender's solution to making a 12-string.
Yeah. Welcome to the conversation, Jared.
He said the bridge kind of. Why you got to be like that? He said the bridge though the things pop the bridge is popping up though, you know.
Well,
so he
Fender
needs to have it fixed.
Yeah, Fender was never really good with.
He's a
putting together
working man.
acoustics.
So
How many
I
did
don't
they
feel
make
like-
of the originals? Do you know?
Somewhere, I mean, it's in the hundreds. I'm sure it's got to be less than 1,000. They did a similar thing with, and I also made another replica of it's called a swinger or an arrow or a music lander, where they used old Duosonic bodies and the short scale, like 22 3/4 short
Right.
scale. Next, they did a similar type of thing where they chopped up the bodies and things like that.
Yeah.
So I made a replica of that too. But I like this.
I mean,
one
dude,
better.
that's an incredible replica. That really is stunning. It's weird as crap.
So
But it is. It's. I mean, but just for the sheer like wow factor of like, I mean, this is a kitchen sink guitar.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that. It's got a tone selector, like a giant
Chicken head
lever.
on it.
It's not
Yeah.
even a chicken. It's like a full-on paddle lever.
Well, that's what the electric 12s had. That's total electric 12 circuitry.
it's
Yeah.
like a
pick guard.
flamingo head.
And basically, it's a 4-position switch, so you can have the bridge.
Yeah.
You can have the bridge and neck in series, the bridge and neck in parallel, and then the neck only.
So how many again? There are 4 positions.
4 positions.
And this is it's a vibrato on the back.
Yeah, it's a Mustang vibrato. Yeah. I mean, and
Those are so
on most of
interesting.
any Jags or Jazz Masters I put together, I prefer to use Mustang bridges.
Yeah.
Because I can't quite
They're cool looking.
I can't quite afford a mastery.
Yeah. Well, how do they hold up as far as
Mustang bridges are a little more substantial than Jaguar or Jazzmaster bridges because there's less moving parts.
yeah, I mean
I think they stay in tune better than those
Okay.
others. There's only one slot for the string as opposed to Jags and Jazzmasters where
Right.
they can jump from it's like a threaded
you
rod
mean on the saddle.
on the saddle
Yeah,
itself.
yeah. So this is okay, 1-string saddle. Is that double? No, it's not a double truss. It's just single truss.
Yep, single truss rod
Down at the
Heel.
At the heel.
where it ought to be,
Yeah. Okay.
unless you're a guitar tech.
All right.
It's beautiful, man. It's got binding. It's got
Yeah, I mean the neck itself. I mean I went all out because that's what the originals. They would have block inlays,
mother of pearl.
and binding on the neck.
Beautiful guitar.
And it's square blocks. So I like describing guitars, and I'm just telling you right now, this one is tricky to describe. The body, it's like, I mean, clearly they just said, what if we just completely
Let's go over to the bandsaw and
went
see
to
what
the-
happens.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they sort of squared off the top horn.
Top horn squared off.
So
And
it
then-
almost looks like the precursor to
An
like
Iceman.
a warlock, I was gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah, a
that
little
too.
bit.
Or an Iceman.
Little
That's
bit.
kind of what came to mind.
But honestly, I was kind of shocked at how much wood I had to take off of a Jaguar body to make it look like this. And
Man, oh,
Really?
man.
I mean, especially from down below.
Yeah, 'cause
So that's what
offset
they
also.
did. They used Jaguar bodies.
Well, they used electric 12 bodies, which are based off of Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, can you spin it around real quick there, bud? And it's got a torque guard, which is nice, and you got a sunburst
front.
Solid.
Now here's the deal with the
So
electric.
that's a 3-color burst then, yeah?
3-tone burst.
3-tone
correct.
burst, yeah.
The deal with the originals is there would have been a wooden plug where there was a big string ferrule that the strings for the 12-string went through. They plugged it with a hunk of wood, and then that's why they just did a solid color back on them. Now, I didn't
I
go
wonder
quite to
if
that
they would
extreme.
actually, if that shape of the plug would project through the finish after
does. a while. It does.
I noticed that sprayed in nitro too, right? Because
Yeah,
I think I saw the checking in the front.
The checking on this thing is it's beautiful.
It is.
It
Man.
really
that's
is beautiful.
MJT over in.
I mean, you got the
Nice.
fade on the neck.
Good job,
and
MJT.
everything. Like, this is legit. Really, really nice replica.
So there's a
You
book.
would know, yeah.
There's a book here that Tony just handed me a picture of the back where the wood block we were just describing for the furls for the
It's not
thing.
as heavy as I thought it was going to be.
It projects out. That thing projects out like a sore thumb, man.
I think it's just the lacquer sinks around it.
It does big time. So, that happens with Gibson Les Pauls. People put those that whammy system, the Kahlers or the whatever they are, is in there, and then they try to fill that in with a block, and you always see the projection of
you
the.
can't do it.
You just can't do it. You got to just change the whole maple
Got to
top.
retop it. Yeah.
The string tree. So that's an original string tree.
Yeah, that's a new old stock string tree. That I
Yeah,
got from
because
a-
you still have the holes for the other 4 strings.
Those metal parts are just. You either got to find new old stock or just somebody somewhere decided to make a run of 1,000 of them.
Yeah, I've got
nice.
about a half dozen more of them sitting at the shop.
Right.
I bought a bunch of them when I could.
Well, I may want to make another
So we
one.
will
in the
have
future.
pictures of this that we will be posting.
Oh my gosh.
When the episode comes out, not before.
That's probably the best guitar we had when we went first with it.
Wow.
I'm just guessing.
What are you talking about? Mine's a sweet peach, baby.
I don't know.
It's not. It looks like it's gonna weigh a ton. It really looks heavy, and it's not.
No, it's the
just-
alder on it's pretty light.
It feels to me in between like I don't know, it's kind of like a heavy 70 Stratocaster maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except better because
Well, you add this. Well, of course, I agree 100%. You got this heavy vibrato bar on there, and I don't know. Man, it's a great guitar.
Yeah.
I am jealous that I don't have it.
You know what? It's beautiful to look at for its oddity.
And that's why I gravitate towards the oddball stuff.
That's an oddball one, all right. I think even the Japanese builders would be like, what?
Beautiful
So-
piece, man. Holy smokes.
Yeah. It really is a neat
That's
guitar,
awesome, man. There's plenty of room for the tuners on the headstock.
So what made you, what was the genesis of doing that? Because that's not a cheap thing to do.
No, I mean, yeah.
I'm
it's-
not, and
Well-
I know for a fact, like, you are not cheap about your gear.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Well, the interesting thing is a lot of that was trade.
labor trade?
Labor trade and for pick guards that
That's
I
a
make.
wonderful world to be in.
So, like Curtis and I have some things going back and forth, and Tommy at USA Custom, that's a USA Custom body. So really the only thing I purchased were the neck and some of the metal parts.
yeah.
But everything else was pretty much trade on it.
What made you go like, I want to do this one? You just saw it in the book?
I have a pretty good reference library. And yeah, I mean, I've seen them in here. I've seen them in person maybe once or twice.
I've never seen one.
There was a band out of Pittsburgh called Car Sickness, and the guy.
That's what that kind of looks like.
It was perfect, perfect. But he played one. I mean, it was a real. I mean, it was a 1969. I don't know if his was a custom or a Maverick. The very first ones were called Mavericks, and then they just put custom on the decal.
Yeah,
I like them. I like the Maverick.
The Maverick, it's cool. It's kind of like a Rat Fink style.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
Right.
Big Daddy Roth lettering kind of thing.
So, I mean, it's just one of those things. Well, I had built an Electric 12 replica.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's similar. I mean, I had the routing template that I put together so I could route it properly. And if you go to my website, I post some of the projects that I've worked on and do. And actually, all three, the Electric 12, this one, and the Swinger are on there too. And it's just one of those things. So it's like one led to the other. The Electric 12s, I said, okay, well, now I've got these bits and pieces. And I've always wanted to put one of these oddball ones together. Actually, I was going to do a Swinger first because it's a hell of a lot cheaper. But
I think that there is a misconception that because it's, an homage guitar or, a replica, that somehow it's cheap or not valuable, or why on earth would you spend money to get a fake thing?
Well, I mean, if you can find one now, I mean, you'd probably pay thousands of dollars if you can find one.
Even a replica?
That could be $2,000 or $20,000. So help me out here.
I would say under $3,000 for a really good one. Anywhere from $1,000
if you can
to
find
$3,000.
one.
If you can find one, and they're just really hard to find.
I haven't seen one at any of our shows.
No.
I haven't seen one anywhere.
I mean, they might show up in Dallas or in some of the bigger shows. So it was just something I wanted to put together.
Okay.
And so,
what is somebody off the street? What does that cost them?
Well, I mean, I think if somebody actually went and paid retail for everything, it would probably be over $2,000.
Okay. And finding an old one, you're probably looking at like 25 to 3 if you can find one.
Yeah. And actually,
it seems like it's got to be more than that, but
they've never been really popular.
Yeah, but well,
obviously,
so not a high demand. So it's
not a high demand. I mean, there's plenty of Gibsons that are wonderful guitars, but they're not on the collector's hot list.
Like Sonex's.
Well, yeah, there's a reason on that one.
Okay, come on now.
But yeah, so it's. I mean, I build guitars so that I don't go totally insane from chopping up plastic. So every once in a while, I need a break from that. So that's why I like putting things like that together. And for me,
I completely appreciate that. There is a joy that comes from building stuff. I get it in small waves with doing my own one-off pedals as often as I can, even though I know I can go buy one that is probably going to be maybe better, probably have some more features on it, but it's the idea that, well, I spent time and I put that together and I figured out what I wanted to do to mod it and graphics and all that business. So I totally understand that. I love it. Well, thanks for sharing that, man. That was pretty tight.
Cool. Thank you.
In a very weird way. Jared, what do you have?
Well, let's open up that center case and find out.
Okay, let's no talking over the latches this time.
No, there's only 2 latches. The center latch is not there. It's broken. So just open the 2 on the end.
You're talking over it. I knew it.
Ooh, Sparkle City. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Fender Telecaster Thinline Speedboat. That's right. The story behind that is there's a certain...
So wait.
Go ahead.
It's a Tele
Thinline.
Thinline.
Yep.
72 style.
That's
72
right.
style.
Yep. With the wide range humbuckers.
Wide range humbuckers.
2
One
Fs.
single F hole.
Yep.
You got a fully maple neck, meaning the fretboard and the actual neck.
Everything.
And a bullet truss rod.
And a bullet truss rod.
That's an American Series.
Oh, I know.
American Vintage Series neck. It's not a vintage neck. But it's as close as you can get without paying the big vintage price. So,
And you got a white pearloid pick guard.
Yep.
With pearloid knob toppers.
Yep.
Pick Guardian.
Yeah.
Can you explain what this style pick guard is called? Because this is not, I think it's easily confused. If we close our eyes, I just thought Ozzy again. Doggone it. Why did I do that? If you do that, don't do this if you're driving. Yeah, you're probably instantly going to think of the custom pick guard with the 4 The 4-knob.
Ah, the 4-knob.
Right.
But this is not that.
This
has the three-way switch.
That would be the deluxe.
Three-way
with the
switch.
Yeah, the deluxe has the 4 knobs.
Yeah, so this is what I call a 72 style.
Yeah.
They had 2 styles of thin lines. There was a 69 style, which had a standard Telecaster bridge and bridge pickup with a wide range humbucker in the back. And just a single,
Yeah.
So it was essentially the same, except the pick guard cut like down right through where the bridge pickup is.
Yeah.
This is a 72 style, so it was the second version that they came out with. And then, of course, the solid bodies that had 2 wide range humbuckers and 4 controls. Like I think Fender was taking a peek at what Gibson was doing. So they have a much larger guard with the toggle switch.
I love that
up in
one.
the upper bout.
That's
Also the large CBS headstock.
yes.
Yeah,
It would be a
that's true.
Stratocaster
It had a
shape.
Strat-
For the record, that is
That
the
was
one
called-
that I still want.
and
that
that's
was
that
called
would
the
be a Tele
Deluxe.
Deluxe.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Black on
this
black.
this particular guitar weighs less than 6 pounds. It weighs
It looks like Huggy Bear's supposed to be playing it.
right. So I love that guitar. I brought
He does have a white fur jacket that he plays.
Seriously.
don't tell
It
anybody
probably
that.
is a white fur strap. I'm not even joking. I bet. Wow.
That's a picture of the guitar before the top was put on it.
Wow. So that is totally chambered.
Yes, it is. So I bought a beat up, just routed out, beat up old Telly body just because it had the color that I wanted, a different guitar. So I bought the body just to get the right color.
To then change the color.
To change the color on a different guitar, on a Strata actually.
Yeah.
Because that's my favorite color. I had a guitar of that
What
color
color?
that was
What-
stolen from me.
what
It's
color?
called Midnight Blue, even though it looks purple to everybody's eyes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I had the guitar
Bought a
and
purple guitar.
I bought a purple Telecaster body. It was an
Prince
American.
tribute.
It was American made too. And when I was done using it to get the color sample off of it, I said, you know what? I can just make a thin line Tele out of this and have them just. It's already been routed out to death. So I sent it up to Lay's and had them hollow it out and make a top, and they. The poly sparkle finish was the perfect thing to do. So nothing would project, so it weighs nothing. It's
You mean so it would hide the
Scars.
the scars and
yeah.
all that kind of thing. Yeah, it was pretty beat up.
Well,
Now,
and what's interesting about that is that it isn't 2 chambers. It's literally one large chamber with essentially a pickup and bridge block,
yeah.
which is kind of cool. That probably makes it sound very different than most others, I would imagine.
It sounds the way it looks if you see the picture without the top on it, and it's
We might have
very
differing
unique.
Opinions on that.
It's very unique sounding. Yeah, you just got to plug it in and play it, man.
Well, I know for a fact that your wide range pickups just blow
Are
me
those
away.
your
Thank you. Yes, they are.
Okay.
And
But you do have the Fender covers.
yes, I do, just to make it look right.
Right.
And I didn't sell them, and I will not sell them, so it's fine.
Again, I always think it's hilarious. Well, I want to make it look right. You've done everything to the guitar to make it not look right, except the pickup covers,
Yeah.
which are actually yours. Oh, you confuse and confound me, son.
Well, let me clarify. It looks right in my head.
That's okay. There you go.
But there's a lot of pickup configuration selection you can make. I think both the toggles come in and out. The knobs do. They're push pulls out of phase, and you can do single coils on those pickups. And
Match.
oh yeah. So
Who makes that bridge? Who makes that saddle? Those saddles?
that is a
It's a U.S. standard.
U.S. standard bridge.
Because you got chrome everywhere except on the 6 other biggest pieces of chrome, which are
Yeah, that's what they do.
That's how they make those.
I think are they stainless? I can't remember if they're.
I'm just surprised that
I
you
think
didn't
so.
go chrome there.
Just chrome,
I guess that's
chrome,
what
chrome.
I'm saying.
So
So that's why I assumed, are these like Godot or
it. I don't know. I mean, I just couldn't find one, or that was available.
And the extra long ones too.
I think I just wanted to get a bridge on there.
Like shredder style.
Once I got the bridge on there, and it's not all chrome, but I just really like the way it looks anyway. And the actual screw pulls that come out of the pickups, they have the same look. It's that brushed stainless steel kind of lookish thing going on. So it just that pulls that together. But I just love the way the thing looks.
Your Christmas tree must be really spectacular.
I think these are so sparkly that we don't need to put a Christmas tree up. So
that's pretty outstanding. Yeah, let me see that really quick.
Yeah, I love the neck profile on that too. I really lucked out on that.
What is your? Yeah, that is a nice neck.
It is.
It's a U.S. neck?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
You know what? When I got it, I wasn't sure because there's the regular old U.S. stamping system's not on that neck. But the guy sold it as U.S. So I just took his word for it. And a couple other people looked at it and looked at the serial, and they concurred.
Oh, I concur with yours, definitely.
They're like, yeah, this is definitely I think they call it an American vintage standard neck or just some weird like that. I don't know. Whether it's American or whatever, it's still a great looking, great playing, great feeling neck. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can
to
play
me.
Sympathy for the Devil on the back.
It's pretty hollowed out, man. The thing weighs. You can wear it all night long. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty nifty. It's a clean guitar.
If there was one more thing I can do with it,
I don't think there is.
I'd put a silver sparkle guard on it.
Really?
Oh,
that
mirror. Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Can you imagine?
I wouldn't mind if there was some sort of like perloid binding that matched the pick guard, a small strip of that outlining the F hole.
Yeah.
I think that would
be difficult to do at this point, though.
Yeah, but it would still look really cool.
You're not gonna believe what I'm about to say, but I almost wish it had the Trini Lopez. Trini Lopez, yeah.
Yeah.
That style F hole.
That would look cool on there. Just because of the style.
That's why I'm saying I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm saying that would look actually pretty sweet on there.
Yeah, it's a comfortable neck. Feels like a Japanese neck, though.
Well, hey,
very thin.
That's what I wanted. If it is, then let it be. I mean, it's a great neck, great guitar.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, man.
Pretty sparkly. There's a lot staring at me right now.
You have 9s on this?
Yes. What
so
should be
funny.
on there?
He's a mountain. He's a mountain. He's got 9s on a 5-pound guitar
15s?
with a thin neck.
15.
I don't.
What they should be 11s?
You should be playing like a tree with rope on it.
Do you want like 8s on there? 7s?
10s.
10s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you guys telling me 10s when I like the 9s? Honestly, I agree with you because for some reason
that was easy.
His finger.
They do.
Why are you guys telling me?
I agree with you guys too. When I did have the 9s on there, when I did put the 9s on there, I was like, yeah, these are kind of too slinky.
Yeah.
I agree with you, man. The 10 should go on there. I'll put 10s on the next time I change those strings.
Yeah. I mean, my rule of thumb is I put 10 to 46 on Fender scale, 25 and a halves. On my Gibsons, I put 11 to 48s, and then if it's like a 24, like a Jaguar scale, I'll do 12 to 50.
So
It's just for tension.
Just so I can jump from guitar to guitar, and they all feel about the same.
Right. It's funny though because
wait, hold on. Let me push on that a little bit. When you say you want to jump from guitar to guitar, so I completely understand that, but I would like you to elaborate on that for those that may not know what you mean.
Okay. In theory, there's probably 3 or 4 what are called standard scale lengths. Gibson scale length is about 24 3/4. Most Fenders are 25 and a half. And like Paul Reed Smith's and some other are kind of in between at 25. Fender also made some, like on Jaguars, on Mustangs, that were 24-inch scale length. So a general rule of thumb is the shorter the scale length, the heavier string you can use, so that it still you can bend strings and do things like that. Sometimes if you put too light a string on a shorter scale length, one, it won't tune well, it won't intonate well, and something for me, it makes me play sloppy.
Yeah.
So if I am, let's just say you go out to a gig and you've got a Telly and a Les Paul and a Mustang, and you're switching up, different guitars for different songs, by keeping those relative string gauges, again 10 to 46 on the Fender scale, which is the longest, 11 to 48 on Gibson, which is kind of in the middle, and then the very short scales 12 to 50. To my hand, they kind of feel about the same amount of string tension based on that.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So that's just my little thing that my rule of thumb.
So what did I have in that guitar, money-wise? Well, the body...
So irritated that I did that.
What's that?
So funny.
What, push on the string thing?
Yeah.
I know. I fell asleep. I just woke up. So what do I have? So what do I have in the guitar itself?
That's what I asked.
Right. I got about, I don't remember in the neck, maybe $250, maybe $200, $225-ish. The body, I don't remember. And I would say at least $400 to $500.
With the finish in the top,
yeah.
I would say.
And then the pickups, just parts, because I made those myself. I don't know, maybe safely say $700-800.
That's a
7 or 8, yeah. So if you were to buy a new thin line of some a regular run of the mill American made, you'd be in like maybe $1,200 to $1,400.
Yeah.
And vintage ones go anywhere from $2,800 to $3,500. And upwards from there, because people just command whatever they want for those old vintage guitars.
And you've got something that you like.
I love that thing. It's very lightweight. I'm a big, giant, strong guy, but for some reason I just like little lightweight guitars. I don't know why.
This is true.
Yeah, so
You do like that.
I want to see him play ukulele
yeah. I love
or
that.
mandolin.
I love that little guitar, man. That's great. I think I do like that a little more than the deluxe.
Huh.
Although
Really?
yeah.
Probably just because of the weight.
It's easier to wire the deluxe though, because you have 4 knobs to work with, and if you're trying to cram all these different pickup configurations with just 2 knobs, with 2 potentiometers, it's very difficult to do that, because you got 2 push poles, and then it's really difficult. I have a Gibson Explorer, and I did basically the same configuration, and it's a lot of little wires in a small cavity. But anyway, man, thanks for letting me bring that thing, and thanks for letting me show and tell it.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool to learn about that.
Sparkalicious.
Yeah.
All right. My turn.
What have you brought us, Todd?
Guitar research.
Okay,
Weapon.
ready? Nope.
Johnny Clash.
Oh, yeah!
This is a Fender Telecaster Nashville Deluxe 60th anniversary model.
Whoa.
Made in Mexico, and it's got the honey blonde paint on it, semi-transparent, so you can see a little bit of what appears to be grain. I'm not sure.
Do they just call those blondies, don't they? Like a blondie finish?
That one's a true blonde finish is whiter.
Yeah, this is the honey.
Little,
So and it's got maple neck, maple fretboard, I mean, of course, I hate saying it. It's maple neck. It's like not a lot of guitars don't have, Yeah. Anyways,
It's a one-piece maple neck
it is a one-piece maple neck.
because it has a skunk stripe.
Yep. I traded for a Gibson Les Paul Studio. This is an early trade, and I referenced this in early episodes, that I had beat to death and had modded poorly. And I was putting together a Clash tribute band, and I had to get a telly, of course.
Of course.
And this guy was willing to do a straight trade. So it has a black pick guard. It originally, when I got it, it came with a tort guard. It has 3 pickups in it. So that's what the Nashville Deluxe.
It's a Stratocaster-ish pickup
it
in the
is not
center.
a Stratocaster.
Yes, it is.
It is not.
Well, it's
It's a Stratocaster pickup, and they
it's
put it in the
it's
center.
in strat middle position, actually.
That's
It
right.
is, and it's got the raised poles and everything. And I'm seriously considering getting a new pick guard, just burying that inside the body. I don't even use it.
Well, I tell you what's kind of cool is you could put another Telly neck pickup.
Yep.
I think they made I think it was called the Blackout or something like that they did that way. Or I take that back because I think they moved the second neck pickup up against the existing. So you had 2 Telly neck pickups that they kind of wired like a humbucker.
That's kind of weird.
Oh, wow. You should do that, man.
No, I shouldn't.
Where are you going to get a pick guard for that, though?
Yeah.
Just a regular pick guard.
WD.
And you bury that one.
Okay,
Anyways,
I gotcha.
I left it because it's kind of punk. Look, it's super. That's my punk guitar. Although anybody
it's not
that
beat up enough.
I'm trying. Although anybody that would have probably bought this new would have bought it to play very sort of hot Texas style.
Yeah.
Country rock. It has the Tex-Mex. Those are all Tex-Mex pickups in it. Yeah. Originally, when I got it, true to form, I decided I'm going to switch all kinds of stuff on it. And I put a Seymour Duncan quarter pounder in the bridge, and it immediately took it out because I lost all of the clashness, because
it's got to be twangy.
I just like messing around with stuff, and I was like, I wonder what happens if I do this. So when I did that, I actually the entire gut cavity is copper taped, as is the pick guard, because I was getting an annoying static.
60 cycle hum.
No.
Oh, static.
A weird static. Did I fix it?
I tried
you need
everything.
A new pick guard.
No. The back of that, everything is covered in copper foil, including
control
the
cavity.
Control cavity, yeah. Mm-hmm. So now I carry dryer sheets in my gig bag.
Yep.
And you just rub a little dryer sheet on it, and it goes away. It's just it's literally static.
Yeah.
Yep.
And some plastic does that, and sometimes it's the player.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's if there's a metallic content in the plastic mix.
Well, so that's a really good question, Tony. So what kind of would celluloid do that?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's really weird because I've had not probably less than 5%, maybe a couple of percent of people who have written me back and say, hey, I get a static problem with this. And most of the time it's on something like a bound guard that you're buffing. Yeah. And as you buff, you're essentially creating static electric. Yeah. And sometimes it's the player. I'm
just electric. It's electrified.
Yeah.
So, buddy, it looks like the only thing you use on that thing is just the bridge pickup.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I have a very strategically placed piece of duct tape holding it into the bridge position.
That's correct.
So I play this for the Clash tribute band,
right?
Called Johnny Clash, and I only play the bridge pickup in it, and I play it really hard. Mm-hmm. And what I've done with the pick guard is I swap out different things. So I've got electric tape on the pick guard, and I paint some sort of whatever I'm feeling at the time. For a long time, I had said weapon on it. And then I switched it up lately to resist. And then If I depunk it, I can still get my trade value out of it.
Well,
I'm not totally willing to sacrifice it as of yet.
I have a question. The Circle Star deal.
Yes.
Did it come like that?
So I have sort of a military kind of martial, very Clash-esque star with a circle around it, stencil that I painted on the body. Now my friend absolutely freaked out when he saw it. He was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Don't worry, man. It's that dip paint." So when you hear people saying, "Oh, I'm going to dip my rims," or "I'm going to do that," it's basically rubber paint. It will come off. It looks like spray paint. If I scratch it, it doesn't just peel off. It's pretty great.
So I can etch my initials on the star.
You could, but then you'd probably be etching your initials into the body itself. But I have it roughed up, and it's got some overspray.
I like the way it looks, man. It looks rough. It looks like you just did it in a hurry.
I think because the 3 pickups are different. It's got the standard chrome telly neck pickup. Yeah. It's got a white Strat pickup in the middle, which whatever. And then it's got the bridge. And originally came with the ashtray. It had it was a 3-piece, the whole 9. Yeah. So I did away with that because I can't stand the ashtray. I'm playing right up on the heel of that, and that's no bueno for me. So it's got the standard. It's got just the chrome plate. What else did I do? Oh yeah, I took off the normal knurled barrel knobs that are standard on a Telecaster, the chrome domes. Yeah. And I put jazz bass pickups or knobs. I can't speak because I'm looking at the guitar.
Right.
It's like
taking
like trying to telling somebody how to drive when you're not driving, but I'm the one who's driving. Yeah. So, anyways, so I have the black jazz bass knobs on it. I need to reach down and feel something, and those edges I can get a grip on real quick. The knurls are fine, but I can't see. You turn it and you don't know where you're at. You have to be able to hear that. And I like the idea of with the white, just with that single white stripe. And I went a level further and I nail polished with white down the ridge.
Right. So you can see it at the right angle.
Where am I?
Yeah.
Do you
I like doing this crazy. He makes sparkle stuff. I like to
But do you change knobs much change position much?
I'm off and on of the volume quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mainly because I'm playing it loud, so I gotta roll up, roll off. So in a sense, I could go Frankenstein with it and bury or take out the middle pick guard, take out the middle tone pickup control. Bury a screw into the slot of the 5-way switch so it couldn't move.
So if I was going to suggest, but since you use your volume control a bit, it wouldn't work. But if you really want to get the maximum output out of your pickup, you just wire it straight to the jack.
Yeah.
Here's an idea too. If you didn't use that middle pickup at all, if that is a modern plastic bobbin, you could actually slide those magnets out of the bobbin and go to somebody that knows how to hook up those dummy coils. Use that as a dummy coil.
I would literally just bury it.
Yeah,
I would get a new pick guard.
Bury it under the guard.
Bury it under the guard. Take the magnets out.
In positions 2 and 4.
Yeah.
It becomes hum canceling.
Yeah,
exactly. And you don't need the magnets either.
But that's what the tape's for, so I don't have to do any of that.
Okay. The tape took care of it all.
It just doesn't sound very punk if all of a sudden I accidentally flip it into neck position, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's my punk rock baby right there.
That is cool, man.
It's a neat guitar. I really love it, and it sounds freaking awesome. The neck on it is money.
Yeah, I'd like to feel that.
And, I satined the neck as well on the back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This has a little more beef on it.
Beef on it?
Yeah.
I usually like Mexican.
It's got a little more girth, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's how I roll.
Yeah, for some reason, I really like the necks that come out of Mexico. I just like how they craft those.
Yeah, that is a Mexican.
I like them.
Body.
I don't know why. I just do.
And neck.
I just don't like the truss rod adjustment at the headstock.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
It's one of my things.
really? Why?
In my opinion, It belongs on the bottom end.
Why?
Well,
You mean just on a fender?
just on a fender?
Okay.
Yeah. For some reason, I mean, it's in the right position. I think when it's at the heel adjustment, you're taking more material out at the heel as opposed to up here. You have to take a lot of material out of the headstock to put.
I see what you're saying.
In.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just one of my little quirks. I could be dead wrong.
Oh, that makes sense.
Every fender I've owned, or put together.
I wonder why they did that.
It's easier. It's easier for a tech if you have to make adjustments and things. And that's why, like on his with the bullet truss rod, I think that was one of Leo's things.
Yeah.
Because I think he got a lot of complaints that, if you have it at the heel, you basically have to take the tech off every time you want to make an adjustment.
Yeah.
So that was his.
Or at least have a pick guard with a.
Even then, you still have to tilt the neck back.
Well, yeah, because the pickup's so close. I was thinking like on a bass or something like that. You could.
Yeah, but I see so many vintage guards that are just chewed up from people trying to shove a screwdriver in that little divot. Yeah, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, and I like the wear that I have on the pick guard.
It's got good wear, man.
You can tell I go to town on
Lots
this
of
thing.
pick force.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that in, Todd.
So why didn't you get the Joe Strummer model?
Yeah, no.
With stickers.
I don't.
It had all the stickers.
You can buy that, and I've seen some people who have posted, replicas. Which, if I had a replica, it would just be purely wall art for that. I could see myself doing that for wall art because I think I've referenced this before. But first time we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, there was one thing that made the hair on my body just completely stand on end, and I got short on breath. And that was seeing Joe Strummer's Telecaster in there. It was right after their Clash show, so they still had a couple things. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I was in a room right next to all the Beatles memorabilia and everything, and that guitar just trashed. Everything was like Russ's DNA all over it, and it was the most badass thing I've ever seen in my life, hands down. That thing was incredible. And just knowing wow, that was in his hands, it was a powerful thing because I'm a huge Clash fan. So anyhow, show and tell. The good thing is we have lots more stuff to show and tell in episodes to come. And maybe Mike and a couple of our other friends will be able to join us on the next ones. We're going to go to our last segment.
Would you
rather? All right. Here we go. So listen up here, everybody. I'm not joking when I say we listen to you, and I'm not kidding. I'm not pulling your chain when I say it matters to hear from you and to we take the things that you tell us into consideration. To that point, we had a friend of ours online, Liam Martin, give us an idea. And I said, hey, man, we're going to use that on this next here episode.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So he says, and I quote, was there a would you rather at top of the line Epiphone or bottom of the line Gibson? Interested to know opinions on this in terms of build quality, material quality, etc. So that's what we're going to do. So today's would you rather is, would you rather have
the Epiphone top of the line?
Nope. Yep.
Or the Gibson kind of the bottom of the line?
Yes. Okay. So we're gonna say which one we would rather have, and I think it would be probably a good idea to say if there was a model corresponding to our choice. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That kind of throws a wrench, you know.
It shouldn't.
Well, kind of, but I don't know.
Okay. I mean, you could put that in. I mean, there's some pretty good examples of both.
And I think,
of course,
a why, So let's do that. Yeah. Tony.
Okay. I have owned I still have a couple top of the line Epiphones, and the ones that I consider top of the line probably are like the Elite series.
Okay.
Those were Japanese made with U.S. componentry and that sort of thing. So I have one of the John Lennon 1965 Casinos.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm thinking that we're probably at maybe modern, like you're talking vintage stuff.
Well, that's not. No, it's not. This is not a vintage. I mean, it was a 1965 John Lennon Casino model
From 1965?
No, it was like a early 2000s.
Okay, all right, you're fair. Fair game.
So yeah,
What is that?
but
Somebody's phone's going bonkers.
not mine, or maybe it is. It's over there. Is it Bob? Is
Goodness sakes.
Bye.
All right.
But I was giving that as an example. That to me is like the top of the line. But let's just, for sake of argument, say things that are currently available on the market.
Okay.
And I think, having looked at and tried out several bottom of the line Gibsons,
Such as?
well, there was the Firebird X, maybe.
No, I don't know.
It's just a horrid instrument.
Okay.
Sorry, Gibson. You dropped the ball on that one. That was one.
Ball on me.
I got it from a musician's friend at a really low price. And I got it, and I was so absolutely disappointed that I sent it back the next day. I mean, it was just a horrible guitar.
You just can never get that time back you spent.
Yeah. So thankfully, musician's friend has a very good return policy. But
Yay.
I've had others at the bottom of the heap from Gibson, and I totally get it. They have a hard time making things in the USA for very little money, and where they really cut corners, I think, is on the finish. 9 times out of 10, I don't spray finishes, and I think I could probably spray a better finish than what's on some of those.
My.
So, to answer your original question, I would go probably with the top of the line Epiphone, and for a number of reasons. Depending on where they're made, because Epiphone has factories still in Japan, in Korea, and several in China, and probably a couple of in Indonesia and whatever. But generally speaking, it's either going to be a Korean or Japanese made one that's their top of the line. And that could be anything from like an Archtop Emperor, which those are some pretty nice instruments, to even some of their top end Les Pauls. For the money, I don't think that you can buy probably a better guitar and still have, the provenance of some relationship to Gibson. I think the woods that are being used overseas are as good, if not better, than a lot of things. And I think, even though they cost a heck of a lot less, they are still. I mean, the build quality is. I mean, I have to say it's better than some of the very low end Gibson things. So, I think in my opinion, for the money, if I had unlimited funds, I'd go buy custom shop Gibson, blah blah blah. But I don't. So I don't.
Okay. That's solid, baby.
Yeah.
All right. What are you doing there, homeboy?
Well, home slice. As far as bottom of the line Gibson and top of the line Epiphone, I agree with Tony on that, and it's not easy for me either because I have not owned a lot of Epiphones. The only actual Epiphone I have owned was an EDS 1275 double. That's the Jimmy Page double neck thing. And the electronics on it weren't great at all, but the actual construction of the guitar was great. It was not the bolt-on model, the neck bolt-on model.
They called that the Michael.
Michael Bolton?
Okay. So if I had a choice between today, a brand new either an Epiphone or a brand new Gibson, bottom of the line Gibson, top of the line. I would go with the Epiphone. And for me, I've in my experience working on the Epiphones, it's the electronics that were poor.
Yeah.
On the Epiphone part. And I would change those out.
Yeah, pickups and pots and switches and things. It's interesting.
Dig them out.
I had an opportunity a couple years ago to go down to the Epiphone
factory
warehouse.
Thing. Yeah.
It was their 50th anniversary, 100th anniversary, I don't know, one of those anniversaries. And I mean, it's down in Nashville. It's up the street from the Gibson factory. And the thing that impressed me wasn't so much, the guitars and things, but they basically had a dozen benches, if not more, of techs that basically when the container comes in, they take each guitar out, they go through it, they make sure the action is okay, they set everything
They have
up.
to go over it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, you figure unfortunately, sometimes the wood is curing on the boat over,
right,
and the finish. So, but they do spend time to do that before it goes back out to any guitar shops.
Well, yeah, it's worth doing that.
The specifically, well, actually,
oh yeah. So I want to ask you.
Yes.
What are you trying to say here?
What would you rather have?
Well,
Todd?
thanks, Tony.
Would you rather have a bottom of the line Epiphone?
I wasn't done though.
Bottom of the line.
Top of the line Epiphone.
I'll be done now. That's fine.
I will take the Epiphone any day of the week. I've owned several Epiphones, and I think you're absolutely right. For the money and the quality you're getting, it's like you can't even touch it. I have a Sheridan 2.
Nice.
It is gorgeous. I mean,
guitar.
it is just beautiful. Everything on that is tip top, minus the electronic harness on it, which Jared actually replaced. They do that so they don't have to spend 3 times as long wiring your guitar, because it's basically harness connections. Mm-hmm. So I put in new pickups and new wiring, and the thing sounds ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous.
It looks great. It feels great. Plays great.
Here's the thing. Gibson has started to use their pots and switches and things all mounted on circuit boards now too.
Yeah.
So, you run into the same problems, and the real downside of it is if you do have a bad pot, you have to replace all 4 of them now.
Yeah.
There's no
well,
way
this
to put
one,
it on.
this is semi-hollow body, and it's just the hard part. Anybody who has a semi-hollow body, if your pots start going, or like, I want to put in new pickups, and then you kind of look in the F-hole and you go like, no, I don't, right? Because getting them out is a real
It's a pain in
chore.
the keister, man.
It's tough. It's a lot of work, and it's going to cost you a pretty penny to get that done.
just the labor work.
Right. So in order for them to kind of make that more efficient, you have the pickups wired into a female jack, and the pots hooked up to a male jack. And you put one in one side, one in, and you reach in and you connect it, right?
Yeah, but that's not how your new electronics were done. They were done the old school way.
Yeah, they're all straight wired. Anyways, but if I was going to buy, if you said, here's some money to go get a top of the line Epiphone right now, I would get the ES 175 Ebony, all black with the split trap inlays. Oh yeah,
There it is.
that thing is bad. Yeah, it's really cool. Hollow body, but not. It doesn't look like a jazz box. It looks like a rock box, and it's got the cutaway, sharp cutaway horn on it. It's cool, real cool. And that's priced at $899. I was like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is nothing to spend on a good quality guitar.
Yep.
Just get some new pickups in it.
New pickups.
Yeah. Anyways, Liam, I hope that answers your question there, buddy. Thanks for sending that in.
Yeah.
And we welcome any and all suggestions like that. We are thankful that you are part of our show, and thank you for listening. We'll come back to you soon with more juicy Good stuff. Subscribe!
Yeah. But pizza time.
Hey, we'd like to give a special thank you to our executive producers, Tom Barazin and Martin Cliff. Thank you so much for your support. If you'd like to become an executive producer on the show, head on over to patreon.com/theguitarknobs and find out how. All right. Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs to help keep this podcast ad-free and ensure that we keep bringing you the best show we can. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.